Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name is Megan, and this is gonna just be a check-in for the collective. I just want to share really briefly a couple things that have been coming up for me. I've been noticing that there has been such a shift in the timelines for the collective, and it does feel as if collectives are kind of splitting off, and it's really about very unique journeys at this time. So doing the tarot readings, I haven't been as called to come on and do tarot readings as regularly as I was before, because it's felt like everyone's kind of in their own sort of timeline. They're in their own portal, they're in their own experience, and they vary pretty differently from one to the next. And I am always very mindful of being in my integrity, and I do not want to be delivering false messages or false timelines. Even if they're true for one or two people, it hurts me to imagine a person taking that message, as their own, and then kind of feeling misguided about it. And of course, ultimately, we are all sovereign, so we have to discern all of the messages and work them through our own personal guidance system and our own intuition. That's really important, and that's an important piece that we learn on this journey. However, I do still understand that at times we're not always able to do that because we are in emotion or we are in some form of a difficulty. So it's, we take what we want to hear. Or we could be on the opposite end of that spectrum where we're kind of in a dark night of the soul and we can't really see through, we can't see the truth. And so we'll take on messages that are maybe more negative, that aren't actually what's happening at all. And it's actually a much more positive timeline. You get it. So I just wanted to share a little bit of kind of where I've been. And I do feel that my mission work is shifting, and there will be changes. There will be things that will be, that I will be offering that will be different than what I've been offering up to this point. I don't have 100% clarity on what that will be yet, but I am still offering personal sessions and readings. I find those to be so rewarding because we're dealing with you, specifically you, your journey, and there's no kind of collective, like we're not tuning into collective energies, we're really tuning into you. So I'm still available for that, and that is really rewarding in my service work at this time. And I feel that moving forward, I'm going to want to be offering more tools and more support and more systems for those that are on the journey, just period, and kind of stepping out of just the what's coming, what's going on, intuitive guidance, right? I will, however, acknowledge that the intuitive guidance is so imperative and so important, and we can learn so much from that. So it's a balance. It's just balance. And it's me right now going through kind of a transformation and trying to figure out what this new balance is going to look like for me. But I am still so committed to this community and so committed to my service work and my business and showing up for you guys in whatever way I'm guided to. So I just wanted to share that a little bit. And then as far as kind of any sort of channeled messages that have been coming through, there's been a lot that's been coming up for me in my own personal journey, and a lot of clarity that's been coming through, that's come through from pain or come through from difficulty. And the only overall arching thing that I want to share is this theme of compassion, this theme of coming back to your heart space. It feels that both divine counterparts are in very tender, vulnerable positions at this time. I do feel that the divine feminine has been stepping into her strength and her power, and that has been very beautiful to witness and to see or to experience if that's happening to you. And it's also been really special for the divine masculine to witness their divine feminine in that light. However, this has caused vulnerability, this has caused doubt, this has caused fear, and there can be this pedestal energy that can be coming in. Of course, take this message if it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. But as you step into your power, your counterpart can actually start to feel like there's an imbalance in equality and put you on a pedestal or project that you're too good for them, and there's like feelings of unworthiness that come up. So the compassion piece comes in because I feel that we are going through major, major shifts in general as twin flames on the planet right now. Like union energies coming in, and we're entering kind of a portal where there will be more possibilities for union. Many of you have been feeling like union is coming, or you've been in the process of it. I know many twins that have been in union and then they've gotten out and then they've come back. And so there's just been a lot of intense energy around this movement towards coming into the highest expression of our divinity at this time. And so just remembering that we are divine, just stepping back into the compassion for the other and for ourselves. When we're feeling the weight of it, when we're feeling the pain of it, when we're feeling really dark and we're not able to see the light, how can you detach from that story which is existing in the mind, and how can you move back into the heart space? How can you ground everything that you're experiencing back into the heart, which is the truth? And that's what's gonna release you from the pain of the mind and whatever story that you're attaching to. Half the times, the things that occur in these dynamics, we want to make be about us, but oftentimes they're about our counterpart, and they're about their journey and what they're going through. So they may say something very painful to us or very triggering, and if we can create space in that moment, breathe and hold compassion, then we're able to see that higher perspective. And the higher perspective is always available to us. But when we're in kind of an emotional moment and our nervous system is out of balance, it can be really hard to see that higher perspective and to trust and to have faith in that. So compassion, come back to the heart. Know that, I think especially for this Divine Masculine collective, they have been awakened. They have been feeling things in their heart space that they have never felt, or maybe they felt a long time ago and have put down for a long time. So there's a lot of new energy, new stuff coming in for them, and it's really overwhelming. It's really scary, and it makes them feel very vulnerable. And so their desire and their need to kind of retreat, their desire and their need to protect themselves, their desire and their need to feel a threat, they feel threats, right? And so if you offer compassion, that brings about a disarming energy. If you offer frustration, attachment, and any of that other stuff, which is you attaching a story and making it about you, it's gonna make any form of communing very difficult. And this is something I've been going through in my own journey, so I share this from firsthand experience. It's really easy to get into the, it's not fair to me because ABC and da-da-da-da. But then if you step into the heart, you're able to really examine and see that there is a huge awakening and there's a huge breaking open happening, tower moment upon tower moment. And it's really challenging. It's not easy. No one is saying that this is easy. It's almost not supposed to be easy. And it's easier, actually, to not be in compassion and to not keep the heart open. It's easier to go in defense mode. It's easier to shut down. It's easier to avoid and to escape. And that's a little bit what the Divine Masculines have been kind of riding that wave of. Okay, this is overwhelming. This is intense. These emotions that I'm feeling, this opening of the heart, feeling so much all at once after not feeling for so long. It's too much. It's too much. I need to get away from this. Whatever's going to bring this out, whatever's going to keep triggering this, I need to move as far away from this as I possibly can. And that, of course, is going to be the Divine Feminine, because you are a mirror for that. So I'm not necessarily feeling or sensing that this is a runner-chaser energy at all. In fact, I think we have really neutralized that energy as a collective, depending on where you are in the journey. If you're newer on the journey, you might still be in that phase. But if you've been on this journey for a while and you've experienced a lot of the runner-chaser, I'm not necessarily feeling that that's where we're at. I don't feel the feminines chasing at all. I feel the feminine's moving deeper and deeper into detachment and to trust. I don't feel that the tower moments have subsided. I feel that those are still coming on strong, and it's like each one just brings you deeper and deeper into your alignment. But I do feel that the reason I'm saying it's not the runner chaser is because it's not charged. There isn't this attachment, and the divine masculines, the collective I'm speaking to and the experiences I'm directly speaking to, they're not running and hiding in a cave. They are detaching, perhaps. They are trying to avoid, perhaps, and they could still be in some shadow. They could still be in a mask. They could still be in some hiding and dishonesty, of course. But they are working to be more and more in their integrity and in communication and in truth. So even though there's this instinct to want to run and to hide, they're not quite doing that in that charged way. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to find a better way to explain that. But it's not so much like I'm going to run and go hide in this cave and like pretend you don't exist. It's I can't do this, and I'm going to set a boundary, and I'm going to shut myself down to you, or I'm going to put some walls up, and I'm going to be in a little bit of a defensive energy. But I'm also not going to avoid the conversation, or I'm not going to avoid telling you that I'm doing that. I may not be completely honest about why I'm doing that, but I'm not going to completely evade that responsibility, if that makes sense. So it's a confusing spot to be in, because I think as, you know, divine masculines are feeling all this emotion on the heart space, it's like really heavy, it's really intense. And that's causing this push-pull within them. They're very torn. They're very in this torn energy. I don't feel worthy to move forward. I don't feel worthy to name this, claim this. This feminine is like on this other level. I want to get to that level, but I can't. I feel like I'm protecting her by pulling my energy back and by staying away from her and telling her, you know, being in a little bit of deception, like this isn't going to work or I can't do this. But really, it's because they want it to work so badly, and it's because they have this like faith and it's motivating them to move forward. But there is this trepidation of, can they do it? And there is this, they're not wanting to feel rushed. They're not wanting to feel pressured. They're not wanting to feel any sort of expectation on them whatsoever. And that's this like little piece that I feel hasn't quite clicked in, where they understand that the divine feminine is not putting any of that on them at all. If the divine feminine is truly in her divinity and in her heart, the divine feminine at this point is saying, I'm releasing all expectation and I'm trusting, but what I am asking of you is to come into your heart, is to be 100% in alignment with your heart in every decision and choice you make, to come fully into that alignment. And if I see that you're not in that alignment, I may very well be triggering you right now. I may very well be holding up a mirror and you may not like what you see. But it's different. Like, we've moved past that phase of complete self-deception. So both are very much in their awareness, but there's stickiness, and it's causing a lot of emotion, and it's causing a lot of pain for both. And I think that if we can come into this compassionate place and this recognition that there is pain for both on both ends, wherever we are in the journey, whether you're in communication, whether you're in union, whether you're in separation, it doesn't matter. There is pain because we're still transmuting this. We're still releasing this. We're working through this stuff. And a heart awakening is very, very uncomfortable. Even for divine feminines, it may come a little more naturally for the divine feminine to really feel into her heart space, but you have to hold that compassion, that if this is all new to you, it's very discombobulating. Okay, I feel like there's more that I could keep sharing and kind of channeling for you, but I think I'm going to use the cards for support. There's a fragile, tender energy at the moment in the collective, and I feel that there's been quite a few towers for both. It's not that we're not listening, and it's not that we're not getting the messages. It's just that there's specific things that Spirit needs us to do and needs to occur that our ego doesn't like, but is for the highest good, if that makes sense. So if we're looking at it like, oh, this is happening and it's really painful, therefore it means I must be off the path, this doesn't feel good. I don't even know what question I'm asking. Let me pause. Our ego doesn't like that. Our ego wants to be like, nope, I don't want to do that. But if we can take a step out of that ego and gain the higher perspective and recognize that, yes, there are uncomfortable things occurring in the dynamics, in the connections. It's very uncomfortable and we'd like to run away. But if we can trust and know that these things are occurring because they are bringing us deeper and deeper into union, into our truth and our divinity, and they're a step that needs to happen, then we can probably gain a little bit more peace and understanding. That's ideally the goal. Okay, so let's just check in with the divine masculines. I think they're already coming out. If there's anything else that wants to come out. Okay. Yeah, so there's so we're getting the temple path. So this is what I mean, like we're not straying from the path. We are very aware of the path. We are very on it. We are very present. We are listening to the messages. We are guided. Both counterparts. So release the fear, divine feminines, if you're watching this, that your divine masculine is straying from the path. The divine is saying everything that is happening is divinely guided. It may not feel good. It may be uncomfortable, but it is the path. It is the path. There's an awareness, a recognition, an ownership, and a cognizance of the path. The path and the truth, it's been illuminated, okay? And now we're dealing with kind of the repercussions and the aftermath of that. How to integrate that, because we're also getting the healer of the ages. So there's a lot of healing occurring for the divine masculine, and I'm telling you, there's a vulnerability, there's a tenderness, there's fear. There's so much fear around the healing, around the heart space, and there's a feeling of not ready. And the divine is kind of gently pushing the divine masculines and saying, oh, but you are. Oh, but you are. You think you're not, but oh, but you are. And so the reason that we can get into this perception of like, we must be off the path, things must not be going according to plan, is because, you know, there's messages coming through. If you're a channeler, if you read cards yourself, there's messages coming through where you're clear that the divine is telling your masculine to move forward, that towards you, or to do this or to do that, right? And then you're like, but they're not doing it. Something must be, what's going on, right? So there's almost this there's a pause and there's a reverberation. So what I mean by that is like they're getting the signal, they're getting the sign, and they're wanting to move forward, but they're saying, no, I'm not ready. I'm not telling you I'm not going to move forward, so I'm not blatantly ignoring the messages from the divine, but I just don't feel ready. I don't feel worthy yet. And the divine keeps sending towers and keeps sending experiences and moments for them to recognize that they've always been worthy. They're inherently worthy. That's a big message around this healing, is the worthiness piece. You are not worthy, divine masculine, because of what you own, because of what you do, because of what you have. You are worthy because of who you are, who you be. And your divine feminine has always seen that in you. Always. From day one, she has recognized this within you. And this, in the beginning, was intoxicating, was invigorating, was addictive. And then we go through the process of disillusion. And then we move into the space of, this is triggering as hell and I can't handle it and I need to move away. I got to get away. I got to run. And that fear constricts for both parties. The feminine wants to chase because she starts to sense that there's disillusionment and there's something going on. There's untruths occurring. And then this sets in motion the awakening for both, right? So we're coming to this place of healing those things. But in order to heal something, it comes forward. It has to be transmuted. It has to be released. We see this in our bodies. The purging process, when we get sick, we have a fever, and then our fever breaks, and guess what? We start to feel better after that. So it's that process, and the divine masculines are very deeply in this process right now, and that there's a deep throat chakra activation that's occurring because it's been this inability to speak the truth, this inability to share the emotions. Right under this, we have the man holding a heart, kind of the King of Cups energy. So there's a depth of emotion, there's an awakening, there's vulnerability, there's fear. The Tower, the storm warning, is right underneath that. So there is a lot of energy here. It's how do I connect what I'm feeling to the throat? How do I share it when I've never really done this before? We're also getting the thinking man. So there is a lot of activations and a lot of energy here for the divine masculines. And I just want to say, this is intense energy. This is a lot. Offer compassion. If you're a divine masculine watching, offer compassion to yourself. Don't run, don't avoid, but offer compassion. Okay. Yeah, so the feminine, bottom of the deck, carrying connections. So the feminine knows. The feminine has not... One thing that's kind of shifted in this period of the journey, it feels, is that the feminine is not in any doubt around, is this my person? Where the feminine may be experiencing doubt is, will this ever happen? Is this going to happen? Do I just give up? I don't give up on my journey, and I don't give up on the divine or spirit, but maybe this person piece of it is just not going to happen. So there's a lot of anxiety, and I feel that there's some Tower moments that have been coming in to purify, to cleanse, to release this anxiety. And there's a broken heart energy. And it's we're also getting the world. So it's the feminines are how do I even face the world? How do I move forward through this? There's a feeling of retreat for the feminines, wanting to go inward, wanting to run away, wanting to go into the void, go into the 5D and not face the world. And what Spirit is telling me here is your medicine and your way through this energy, divine feminines, is to face the world. It's to confront the world. Share your message, your voice, your feelings, perhaps with your divine masculine. Share from a place of vulnerability. Share from a place of compassion, unconditional love. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. If you don't have the opportunity to do this, if this is not something that's available to you, you can have these conversations in the 5D. You can send your feelings, your truth, sit in the truth of your feelings and your emotions, and send them to your guide, send them to an angel, ask them to deliver to your masculine, if it's something that you feel really needs to be shared and witnessed by them. And also trust that the divine will orchestrate this at the right time, when's necessary, when it's needed. But the only way out is through divine feminines, and you can't hide from the world. You are meant to change the world. And it's through the broken hearts. It's through the pain. It's through this connection that you're meant to change the world. And I know sometimes that really sucks. It's the last thing in the world we want to hear. But it feels that this is an opportunity where Spirit has said, you are strong enough. You can do this. You are strong enough. Therefore, that is why this is occurring. This has needed to occur. If you hold the higher perspective, this is needed to occur, but it couldn't occur a moment too soon. It's occurring now because you're ready now, and we need you. You are needing to be the strength. You are needing to be the voice. You are needing to be that embodied, emotional, mature, divine feminine, that empress. And you lead the way. You are the example. You are the way shower. And your masculine is figuring out how to find his own worthiness, his own light, and not be in the shadows of yours. He's figuring out how to hold the space next to you equally as your counterpart without any sort of unworthiness or feelings of lack or like anything that's going to push him into those old templates of relationship, of scarcity, of expectation, of codependency, of, right? That's this healing. That's a big part of this healing that's occurring. So no matter what is occurring in your connection in the 3D, no matter what words are being said or exchanged, either on your end or your counterpart's end, know that this love is so big and so true. Okay? That's a big message, because I'm just feeling such a tenderness in this collective, and that's why this theme of compassion. And there's a doubt of that. There's like a doubt of, this person has forsaken me, or this journey has forsaken me, or God has forsaken me. And Divine Feminines, you're strong enough to handle what's occurring. You're strong enough to face the world. You're strong enough to face your masculine if that opportunity presents itself. You're strong enough to face yourself. You're strong enough to hold these emotions. You've worked hard, okay? The work is not over, but you are in a place to hold this and ask for support. Ask for the divine. The divine is here to hold you. The divine has not given up, has not forsaken you. The divine is holding these connections so tenderly and in such a sacred space, okay? I'm feeling so much emotion coming through, because there's, like I said, there's such a tenderness in the collective right now, and it's like a heart opening. I feel like I'm actually tuning in to perhaps the pain of the masculines, of theirs, like, and the pain of the feminines as well. It's actually both. There is it's not lost. It's not lost, twins, okay? The masculines are really trying to do their work. They are. They're figuring it out. They're trusting. They may not be moving as quickly as we feminines feel that we want from them or we need them to, but they are. And the divine needs us to know that and hear that. I'm just going to end this reading with an oracle message. So much emotion. I usually feel the emotion as I channel, but for it to kind of pour out of me without me being able to do anything about it is it means that it's big. It's big energy. Okay. Just Spirit, what do you need us to know? Okay. Soulmates and milk and honey. This is your person. This is your divine counterpart. And you agreed to make each other better. You agreed to hold each other high. You agreed to these lessons. You agreed to these challenges. And that is your promise. And I feel that the divine masculines are wanting to let the divine feminines know that they have not gone back on their promise. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, I know that the divine feminine has felt alone and has felt like they are doing all the work. The divine masculine wants you to know that they are there. They're not going back on the promise. They know you are their soulmate. They know you are their person. There is this abundance and prosperity and joy, connection, commitment, devotion, loyalty that is right here in the offing. The offing, I don't know, that's a weird word that we channel, but right here, it's right in the periphery. And we just have to hold this faith and this space to allow it to unfold and to allow the divine to do their work. So whatever's coming through, whatever's being asked to be moved through you at this time, allow it to move through you and trust that it's enough. I don't want to address time because I think time is what can get us attached in the mind and in the ego. But this is not far off, twins. This is close. Okay? It's really close. This love is so much bigger than the fear. Yeah. This love is so much bigger than the fear. I'm going to end it there. I'm sending you all so much love. I will be back again soon to deliver some more messages for the collective and keep you guys posted on what will be coming up next in my offerings. Sending so much love.